Hello and welcome back. I'm Nicole, a cottage witch, and today I'm doing the Places You'll Go book tag. This was created by Gareth from Books, Songs, and Other Magic. I just about said other music. I was tagged by Precious from Reading Through the Generations, whose channel is very sweet. I'll leave it linked below. And they're both book prompts and life prompts, and you can do both or either, whatever floats your boat. So the first one is which direction you choose. The book prompt is what's the first place you go in a bookstore? And usually, I will go to the other languages section because I'm trying to learn French and sort of Arabic, although I'm a bit delinquent at the moment. And it's sometimes hard to find in Alberta anything other than English. I mean, you can find books in other languages, but you don't get like the range that you might hope for, or that you might find in like Ottawa or something. For French and then other places, I don't know where you'd get Arabic books outside the Middle East, but I've ordered some off of eBay, so it's a bit hard to come by in Alberta. So I go there. Sometimes if there's like a spirituality sort of section, I'll go there. Plants, anything to do with plants. So if there's a section on herbalism or natural history, or whatever they call it, like sometimes climate change sections have very interesting ecology books, things like that. What else? Lit fic, I guess you'd call it, sort of general purpose fiction. Sometimes I'll go to the history sections or the mystery sections, depending on what I'm in the mood for. The life prompt is, what's the biggest life decision you've made that has impacted your life? Well, my undergrad probably, because I got that in stage management of all the impractical things, which was a lot of fun for many years. Started to get a bit tired of the precariousness, and also the expectation to work overtime, preferably without submitting it. So that was, the stress had started to get to me. So I switched from that, but I was a stage manager in opera for many years. So yeah, that would be the one, I suppose. Number two, too smart to go down a not so good street. The book prompt is, what did you used to read that you don't read anymore? And the only ones I could think of are like coming of age books, or middle grade books, because I sort of feel like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, and if other people like reading them, go to town, but they just don't sort of interest me at this point in my life. I don't read a lot of YA anymore either. So yeah, those would be sort of the categories, I guess. At least for the time being, feel like I'm kind of done with. Maybe that'll change someday, who knows? Oh, and peer-reviewed journals. Precious mentioned this as well. I had access to them when I was doing my master's, and I don't anymore. And it's a bit unfortunate. I wish I did, because they are expensive to read, and every now and again there's one that I would like to read. So I wish there was a better, not so scammy system for peer-reviewed journals. It's outrageous. Anyway, and then the life prompt is, what have you learned either as a hobby or an education that you value the most? Just in my personal life, how to identify the plants and animals around me. There are apps for that now that are incredible. They're not perfect. Sometimes the picture of this app is still wrong. Usually if it's terrible at varieties. It's sometimes okay at species if the plant is well known enough. But if it's an obscure plant in the middle of nowhere and we're on the rural roads in Alberta, I mean, maybe it'll know, maybe it won't. But starting to get to know the plants and animals around me, like what everything is called even, is just amazing. The other thing that I value that also impacted my life the most, I suppose, is learning how to read music. because I'm not a professional musician, but I enjoy it, and I think it enhanced my appreciation for music. And also I worked in opera for many years. I mean, I still do the titles, and you can't do that without reading music. So that's, yeah, I appreciate that. Number 3, you'll be seeing great sights. The book prompt is pick a book with an attractive cover. And I just pulled this out today because I really have to read it. Well, I really want to read it, but I'm reading too many things. I've got to finish a couple of things and then I can read this. Otherwise I'll overwhelm myself. This is Mill Dust and Dreaming Bread, Exploring Scottish Folk Belief and Folk Magic by Scott Richardson Reed. And you can sort of see all the silvery bits on there. It's so pretty. And it's a very beautifully printed book, like the pages. I can't communicate to you how lovely the pages feel, but he really put a lot of effort into the production of this book. It's the only book I've ever backed so far on Kickstarter. I've backed decks on Kickstarter before, but never books. And the experience with it went really well. He did an incredible job with this book. It was clearly a passion project of his. But sometimes that happens, and then the administrative sort of execution side of it falls flat, and people get frustrated with the Kickstarter, because not everybody's good at both the creation of a work and the production of it. And he killed it. So I'm very happy to have gotten this and very excited to read it. And it's got one of these little ribbon bookmarks. It's just, everything about it is beautiful, and I'm very excited. Life prompt. What's the most beautiful place you've visited? I mean, I live about an hour drive away from Banff, so like you can't, I don't know how you beat that. There are some gorgeous places in BC. I'm also a prairie girl, so I'm a bit biased. I think the prairies are beautiful. They're a bit underrated. People think they're very just flat and boring. And I tend to think that's just because people aren't paying enough attention. Because the beauty in the prairies is not going to come up and smack you in the face, except during the sunset. Then it might. But like in Southern Ontario or something, the plant life will come up and smack you in the face. If you're not paying enough attention to it, I mean, you can't not notice it. In Saskatchewan, you can just not notice it. So yeah, it does require a certain bit of effort to pay attention. But if you do, I think it's well rewarded. Number 4, oh, I lost the ability to read for a second there. You'll be best of the best. Book prompt is, what do you feel confident that you know a lot about with regards to books? Not much. Honestly, the more I read about any particular subject, the less I feel like I know. And I worked at a literary festival for a while, so it's interesting to know a little bit about the behind the scenes marketing of a book. But like the contents of the book, if I'm reading, like I know a little bit about plants, witchcraft, books about books about the Middle East. But I don't feel like I know a lot about anything. I'm a professional dabbler. Which brings me nicely to the life prompt, which is, what would be your specialist subject on Mastermind? Mastermind, I believe, is a TV show that I have never watched. I think it's British. Is it British? Anyway, it's not Canadian, so I'm not familiar, but I assume it's a sort of trivia show. And I'm a generalist. I have sort of specialist hobbies, but they rotate a few weeks on, a few weeks off. And I'm not sure I'm just not expert at any of them, but I enjoy all of them. And I don't want to not dabble. I don't want to have to pick one thing and stick with it forever. I want to be able to play with all the things that interest me. I guess if I had to pick a topic, I'd say opera, as long as I wasn't squared off against other opera singers, because like opera professionals know much more about opera than I do, but I think I know more about opera than the average layperson. So that might be my answer. Number 5, except when you don't. Book prompt is, what kinds of books do you feel that you don't relate to? I tend not to be able to get into romance. I can't always get into sci-fi. Every now and again, if it's coming at it from an intriguing enough point of view, I'll get into it. But yeah, romance just doesn't float my boat. Life prompt, what is something you've stopped doing or that you've given up on? Socializing. I've stopped I mean, I never socialized a lot, but honestly, I've embraced the homebody life now, and I will happily spend the day reading with a cup of tea, talking to my plants. They're adorable, and very low maintenance. My balcony garden is a little less low maintenance, but still. I also do less crochet than I used to, so I've really embraced this generalist sort of mentality the older I've gotten, because I used to feel like I had to like pick a thing and do it all the time and not take a break and do something else. And then I ended up doing crochet to the point where it felt a bit like I had to do it. And then of course I didn't want to do it because, you know, it's a hobby. I only want to do it if I'm choosing to do it for fun. And I'm not monetizing my hobbies. No, that would take all the fun out of it. So I do less crochet now. I'm sure I'll get back into it eventually, but I've done a bit of weaving lately, which is quite fun. It's back there on my next week when I do my weekly wrap up. I suppose I'll probably talk about it. Number 6, The Waiting Place. The book prompt is, name a book you're excited to read that's on your TBR. And that is Villette by Charlotte Bronte. I just started it. Did I start it yesterday? No, I started it this morning. I'm listening to the audiobook because my list of books I want to read is just impossibly long. So I try and get the audiobooks. I think this is a book that if I had, all the free time I could possibly hope for, I would probably read the physical book because I just enjoyed doing that with Brontes. But I don't. So if I'm at work or whatever and I have the time and ability, depending on what I'm working on, to listen to an audiobook, I will do that, or while I'm, doing the dishes or going grocery shopping or whatever. And it just allows me to read more of the things I want to read. So if it's available as an audiobook, I tend to go for that first. So I just started that, and I love Charlotte Bronte. I can recognize that The Professor is her weakest book by quite a lot, but there's nothing by the Bronte sisters, all three of the ones who published books, that I don't like. It's just, I love their books. Life prompt is, what in general are you looking forward to most this year? I've got a trip coming up later in the year to Iceland, and I've never been to most places, and I've never seen the ocean, so I'm very excited about that. Number 7 is balancing act. Talk about balancing your time between general life and putting out content on BookTube. I used to try and do 1 to 2 videos a week, and I used to try to separate them by subject, so like a book video versus a tarot video or whatever. And now it's just sort of everything in one pot when I have the energy and the time. I don't have the energy or the time to be algorithm friendly, and I don't really have any inclination to try at this point. I mean, I put a tiny bit of effort into it at the beginning, and it was a small amount of effort, and even that was too much effort. So now it's sort of all in the same pot, and that's that. And I only make videos when I feel like it and have time. So tag others. So I'm going to tag Candy at the Great Literary Rabbit Hole. Speaking of which, I couldn't figure out how to tag people in other people's comment sections to say, watch this video. Maybe you have to be on a laptop and I'm just on my phone. I don't know. Anyway, if Candy does see this and hasn't watched Precious's video before this one, you should. She pairs children's books with natural history nonfiction, and you'd like it, I think. And second thoughts about the mission. Rachel, if she feels up to doing a tag at any point. This one's been around for a minute, so I'm quite late to the party, so no pressure. But if people want to do it and I haven't tagged you, consider yourself tagged and just let me know that you've done it so I can watch it. And that's that. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.